Hi guys, today we're going to be doing your ab curl. So I've set you up at this angle hopefully so you can get a really good view of what my rib cage and tummy are doing through this exercise. For this one, please make sure if you do have any neck troubles that you take it nice and slow. Don't push yourself to pain. Use a pillow if you need to. Use your arms to support, and even don't do the head lift at all, just do the movement with your rib cage and you'll still get the same muscles working. We will feel a little bit of neck strain after you've been doing it for a while, just because it's those muscles and that's what they do, but I don't want you to be uncomfortable, especially if you do have any previous injuries. So take breaks, stop and breathe. When you're ready, set up your space and we're coming down into our normal start position. So feet are nice and comfortable distance from your bottom, roughly hip width apart, just so everything's nice and relaxed there. Neutral spine, so that little arch through the lower back, pubic bone, hips are nice and flat across the top, so we're not feeling any tilting back or forth. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, chest is relaxed. For the ab curls, usually we teach it with the hands behind your head, but I will show you a few different versions as we go along. So here, hands are behind the head, just cupping the back of the head, making sure you're nice and comfortable. Chin should be tucked in, so you're looking down towards your chest rather than directly up at the ceiling. This helps keep your neck in a really nice position so that we're not pushing it too hard or straining. Making sure here that your hands don't push your head forward. So your hands are there for your head weight to fall back into rather than for them to do the pushing. So make sure they're nice and relaxed and just supporting the weight of your head. This movement is all about the rib cage. So we really want to focus on pulling the rib cage down, using the obliques on the side to get that little tiny curl, and it is really small. We're not thinking crunch where you're pulling everything up. We want everything to stay flat at the bottom and it's just a little curl at the very top. So we're going to inhale to start here, tighten that T-zone, TA's pulled across, and that's staying engaged the entire time. Stretch the rib cage out with that inhale. So I want a nice big inhale out to the sides rather than up to the ceiling, so we're not lifting the upper back off the spine, the upper spine off the back of the mat. We want to keep that down, stretch out to the side as big as you can, and then as you exhale, think about your rib cage pulling down and together, and that is what's lifting your upper body off the floor. And then an inhale, same thing, stretch out to come back down. So we're not lifting your head, and that's the start of the movement. The start of the movement's down here. So this is pulling you, not your head coming up first. I know this is really confusing and difficult to get, but take your time and we're going to go through it quite a bit. So relax the shoulders, big deep breath in, tighten that T-zone, spread the rib cage. Exhale, use that rib cage to pull that chest up just slightly. Try not to force your head down into the chest, keep it slightly tucked, but again, pressing back into your hands there, supporting the weight of your head, and then inhale to come back. Keep that going for me. So big exhale as you come up. Force the rib cage down. Inhale to lower. Now here, a few different arm positions you can do. We can be down by the sides, which we do for quite a few exercises, like our hundreds and everything. So it's a good one to practice. Fingertips nice and stretched down towards feet. Shoulders are relaxed and down. Same thing, inhale, tighten. Exhale, that little curl. Hands come off the floor just slightly, but the focus is reaching down towards the toes. So that's going to help that rib cage pull down and the obliques really work here, keeping the hips completely flat, and then inhale to come back. Now your biggest problem without having your hands up behind your head is that you'll tend to tuck your chin in quite a lot because you're trying to look down further. Remember to pull your chin back, so you try to give yourself a horrible double chin the entire time, reaching towards those heels. Inhale to come back. If you start feeling the neck strain, it's a good idea not to completely relax back to the floor every time. So you'll see here the space between my chin and my chest opens up quite a lot when I completely relax down, and then when I come into the curl, that tightens up. That open close is what stresses that neck out a heap. So if you try and force your chin down so you're keeping that same space, again, big horrible double chin is what we're aiming for. So you're keeping that same amount of space between your chin and your chest the whole time. So it's not open, close, open, close. It's staying nice and still, which is easier to do if you don't completely relax your head down on the floor, or if you grab a small towel, cushion, chuck that underneath your head, that will also help. Another position for your hands, which we'll do for some things, is up in top. So you're reaching out like you're about to dive into a pool, and then they just press down with you, reaching down by your sides again towards the heels, and then inhale to come back. This is a great one to do if the neck doesn't really get stressed and you don't want to do the head lift constantly. You can do it with just your arms. So hands directly out in front of the shoulders, shoulder blades down and back, tummy's nice and tight. Big inhale to prepare. Exhale, pull that rib cage down, press those arms down like you're pushing into sand. And then inhale to come back up. So we can see and feel here that I can get the same movement through my rib cage and tightening those obliques without having to actually lift my head off the floor and stress any of those neck muscles. So if you're feeling any serious tension in your neck and you're not wanting to do the full curl, or just as we go along, if you get really, really tired, this is a great alternative to just give yourself a break every now and again. Especially when we're doing things like hundreds, you're holding your head up for a really long time, or we're doing a crisscross, same thing. You're up in that curl for a really long time, so it gets really exhausting. Breathe, choose whatever hand position works for you. When we are doing exercises, when we're using your hands down by your sides, you can also use one behind the head just for the extra support, and then alternate over every now and again. It doesn't have to be a perfect science there. What I really want you to focus on here, now that you understand the technique, is keeping those hips completely still. So the difference between a crunch is that we're pulling all the way up and you're crunching your entire tummy in together. So you can see my hips pull up towards me. With our curl, we're trying to keep those hips down and away, completely parallel to the floor, and it's just the top half that's curling. So crunch is everything coming in, curl is just the top half curling. It's a good difference to be aware of. So if you curl up and you can see that those hips are straightening out and pulling in towards you, you've gone too far. You need to relax the hips back down and maybe not push quite as far up into the curl. Big exhale as you go up, really focusing on the breathing with this one. So if you've been struggling with the breathing in the other exercises, this is a great way to really control and get that perfect. So you should be able to see here my rib cage pulling down and then spreading out nice and big at the top. So think swimmer's lungs, and then pull down and together. So it's sort of working at a nice triangle here is what we're aiming for. If you feel like you've mastered the curl, then I want you to practice a few holds. So you're staying up in that curl, use the hands behind the head to support, or down by your sides, whichever works for you. So you're just going to hold here for a few breaths. Hips are still completely still, T-zones still engaged. We're going to inhale, retighten that pelvic floor. Exhale, try and pull into that rib cage a little bit more. Inhale, tighten the pelvic floor. Exhale, pull into that rib cage a little bit more. And if you hold here for a little while, your tummy muscles might start to shake, which is a good sign that they're working really hard. But once it gets out of control, take a break. So just want you to practice like holding a plank. Just want you to practice on building the stamina of your tummy muscles to be able to hold you up. So when we do get into our more difficult, intense exercises, you know exactly how to hold yourself in that position. Please take it nice and easy with this one. If you have any questions, just send me a message and I will assist you as much as I can. Otherwise, good luck, and I will see you tomorrow for our tabletop practice.